Hey everyone, Meinke from MLive.com, joined by Justin Rogers. We'll have a roster shakeup this week, Justin, with the Lions acquiring Timothy Wright, a pass-catching tight end from Tampa Bay, and that's interesting because the Lions obviously already have Eric Ebron and Joseph Fauria in the fold. Not to mention Brandon Pettigrew, who's not going anywhere. Ebron's not going anywhere. I've seen on Twitter some speculation about what does this mean for Ebron. Ebron was a first-round pick last year. He's the best tight end on the roster right now. I don't think Timothy Wright's going to do anything for his chances. But who this might affect, obviously, is Joseph Fauria. What's your analysis, your breakdown of where this stands between Wright and Fauria?
Yeah, I think we've both been saying Fauria isn't a roster lock, but the thing was there was nobody on this roster that was better than him. There was nobody to challenge him. He offered, what we considered a unique skill set in terms of size and hands, and as that pass catching threat, not necessarily just the red zone, although that's where he's been most successful, but all over the field. Wright could be that guy. I don't know if we're going to get to see him in this fourth preseason game, but Lions clearly liked him. They tried claiming him last year when he was waived by New England. In New England, he had a great deal of success against the Lions, catching a couple scores.
And Wright, I talked to Wright in the locker room today, and he had said that when he talked to Mayhew after the trade, Mayhew brought up that game and said that was part of the formula, the calculus for the trade. The Lions really liked him from that game. 11 touchdown catches in 2 years for Wright speaks for itself. This guy's been traded before. He's been released before. It's kind of peculiar because he actually has pretty good production in his 2 pro seasons, and he hasn't been able to stick. And so I wasn't really sure on that. I asked Wright about it. He just said it was circumstances out of his control, whatever that means. But there's no doubt in my mind that he's competition for Fauria. And if I were a betting man, I would say that he makes the 53 and Joseph Fauria is out come Saturday.
Yeah, we have seen other trades like this late in the training camp preseason. We saw the Lions acquire linebacker Chris White. I might butcher these names. It's been a while. Chris White from Buffalo when they traded away the 4th-string quarterback.
2013.
Kevin Butler, I believe, was the cornerback they got from Washington the day of the first round of cuts a couple years ago, 2012 maybe. Neither one of those guys had much of an impact. I believe Wright is still practice squad eligible, but that would involve him clearing waivers once again. I think when you go out and get a trade for a guy like that, you have a vision that he would fit your roster. They aren't bringing him in for depth for a 4th preseason game. It's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think there are concerns within the organization about Joseph Fauria's health and durability and availability going forward. That ankle has bothered him. That he hurt in week 4 of last year. He said it was chasing his dog. There's been some uncertainty about that, but that's what he says. That's a club stance at this point. What is not in doubt is that he's been unavailable for large stretches since that injury. I think he missed about 6 or 7 games, tried to come back, was out there for a couple of games, limited, hurt it again, missed the rest of the year. Just 1 touchdown catch the whole year, 6 catches overall. And then this offseason, he elected to forego surgery, spent like half the offseason rehabbing and all this stuff, missed almost all of the offseason program, missed the start of training camp, eventually got out there, then missed some more time. I think he does some nice things in the red zone, but I'm not sure if the total package is worth it at this point with Fauria. There are some concerns about locker room fit and that kind of thing. All these things play into it for Joseph Fauria. Good player, but a role player, and I think the Lions might have acquired a player that can fill that similar kind of role in the offense.
Yeah, you mentioned the locker room fit. I think that's a big one. Fauria, he's a bit of a character. He likes to have fun. He's very loud, and that's a loud personality. And this is a locker room filled with quiet, determined leaders, and you often hear Fauria in that locker room over others. Maybe not as much as this offseason as some of the past ones, but there's always seemed to be a weird mesh between him and the guys Caldwell have brought in.
The character fit isn't quite there with the profile they've used in both their draft picks and their free agent signings. And I don't want to put the guy on blast because he hasn't done anything phenomenally wrong in the locker room. No. But sometimes the fit just doesn't seem to mesh with the type of guy that this staff has gone after.
Yeah, it's not like he's out there getting arrested or domestic abuse or something terrible. He's just a colorful personality. He's I don't want to say selfish or anything like that. Like that's probably even still too harsh of a word. But with his skill set, I really would hope that Mayhew's out there shopping him. I think his skill set is going to be appealing. It's the injuries I think are going to hold back his trade value. It's not like they're going to get like a third-round pick or something, but if they could pull another Michael Williams or Muhammad Cisse, and they could pull another 6th or 7th-round pick here right before trade or before roster cutdowns. That's more ammunition stockpile for next year, so they can have the flexibility to move around and kind of acquire pieces they want in the draft.
Where I don't think he's going? Seattle. After putting Russell Wilson on blast last year.
Took me a second, yeah.
Yeah. And that happened actually after his 1 touchdown catch last year. He'd come back from the injury, caught the 1 touchdown pass, had hurt the ankle in that game, finished the game to his credit. Goes out that night to the bar, tweets that out. Next day, he has the ankle injury. He's done. And he also caused the public uproar type thing with Russell Wilson. And I think that speaks to what Fauria is, which is, he had a tough season last year, finally has one good moment and freaks out and causes a national stir. And that's just something that, Caldwell always talks about the high cost for low living. Well, he didn't get arrested, but he also is bringing bad attention upon himself sometimes. And we're talking about a third-string tight end here. If he's a Calvin Johnson type with the men's talent, you don't just let a guy walk because he tweets something you don't like. But when you're Joseph Fauria and you're a third-string tight end, that bar is lowered, and a guy like Timothy Wright can come in, a guy with a similar skill set, and I think maybe make this 53-man roster.
Yeah, bottom line, he's still 6'7", 6'8". He has exceptional hands. I mean, there's no, for his position, tight end position, I know we give Ebron or even back with Pettigrew, some trouble for their hands, but it's very common at the tight end position. It's just difficult to catch the ball over the middle because you're thinking about that hit the impending hit that's coming. Mm-hmm. Fauria's hands are great. They're great for his position. Some team is going to want him, whether they're going to give up a pick for it. Fauria will be on a roster this year, no doubt, even if it's not Detroit.
I agree. And one quick last note on Timothy Wright. I asked him about the offense because we've seen some guys struggle with it, with how complex it is. He said it's not all that different from some stuff he's run in the past, and it shouldn't be an issue for him. So I think that should help his transition into the scheme and maybe be able to produce right away.
We've talked about it, so many times. Tight end position, you have to know so much. I think you just have to be a bright guy in general. If you've been in the league a couple of years, I don't know how much more they can throw at you. That's going to throw you off balance.
That was his point. X's and O's and X's and O's at some point.
Yeah.
I think he should be able to pick it up quickly. That's what we got. Certainly an interesting storyline to watch on Thursday. Fauria should be out there. I'm not sure if Wright will be or not, but certainly a storyline to watch. For Justin Rogers, I'm Kyle Meinke. We are MLive. Keep it right here.